Okay, so hi, brothers. I'm Jole Organista, and I'm here with one of the other brothers that's going to be on our team, with our diversity team. And I'll have him introduce himself. So go on forward.
My name's Luis Feliciano, but I prefer to go by Rico, and I cross Spring 13. My line name's Dark Knight.
Spring 13. Okay, I was fall 13. You're just a little bit before me.
All the wisdom in the world, though, was bestowed upon me Spring 13. So, okay.
Wait, what was your surname?
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Is it because of the Batman?
No, but Batman ended up being because of it. I
Okay.
have like everything Batman you could imagine in my room.
Oh, dang.
I could keep getting more things. Oh, and a Dr. Pepper bottle too with Batman on it.
Wait, so is what's your family tree?
Innovation.
Oh,
It's a
innovation.
small one.
Okay. Huh. Okay. Hey, one of the things I wanted you to show me was your paddle, or what? Not your paddle, but like a paddle that you had that you were showing me earlier.
That my Neo made me. Yeah, so he made. I told him when he was he's a solo like me. I'm a solo, um, and I told him to make me a paddle along with his own paddle, and this is what he made me. So it's the tribal with the Batman insignia and an 87.
That
So
is so cool.
I take it with me to every probate. Any
That's
probate I go to, you'll see me wielding it.
yeah, it's really cool, and I love how it's like our colors. I was a solo line too, so hey, solo
What's up?
line.
We do the hard shit. I was talking to one of my founder today, and he was telling me how that sucks, and I'm like, yes, it does. It's not a fun time. But yeah, solos do it better.
So let's do it better. Yeah. Cool. So I'm in my room. Last time I was doing my one-on-one interviews with the brothers at the University of Utah.
Mhm.
I'm in my room now. This is my license plate, like my actual license plate. It says Latino.
Not not surprising at all.
I'm here in my bed, in my room. Anyways, so moving forward with our one-on-one. So I, as always, ask the brothers to prepare some things. I let them know about the questions I'm going to ask them so we can get to know them. And I also ask them to provide some pictures so we can look at them while they're explaining some of the things. So the first thing I wanted the brothers to talk about is what's one of the pictures, or it doesn't have to be the exact only moment or the highest moment when you felt the hype or the most hype, but at least one of the places where you for sure you experience a lot of hype. And so while he's talking, I'm just going to show share my screen on here, and you can hear him and then see the pictures what he's explaining.
So for the first picture, it's you see all of us, and there's the Afghan in the back, and that was at MGC Showcase, which is something that the UF holds every year, and it shows um, all of the fraternities and sororities and the Multicultural Greek Council, and they all do a show, step, stroll, whatever their traditions allow them to do. Lambdas salute, I guess, whatever, and it's a really fun event. This was the first year I didn't participate since I've crossed. This was actually this past fall. And I was a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest. There are quite a few brothers in our chapter who aren't so good at dancing. I'll just be very blunt. But they really made it work. They had a skit. It was funny. It was goofy, which is what my chapter is. They stepped and they still went hard. The strolls were great, and I was hyped. I was hyped from beginning to end of this for MGC showcase for our set. I literally timed coming there because I didn't care about the other orgs just to watch them, and I wasn't disappointed, and it was very much worth it. So uh, it was a moment of pride, a moment of hype. I was very excited after watching them this past MGC showcase.
That's so cool. I think does it even have your chapter on there on the Afghan?
Yeah, my big actually bought that one, and he put Alpha Upsilon on the corner.
That's cool.
Mhm.
So is it pretty typical that your chapter has black line jackets?
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty typical. I know my big had like a white one and a red one, like and whatnot. and I think they're kind of straying away from that, like kind of making some things unique. So I think one of the Neos from one of Jayco's Neos, he got a red one, but for the most part, we stick to black.
Hmm. Yeah, in our family tree over here in Salt Lake City, I'm in the Sousa family tree. We have black line jackets, and then the some of the other people in the Felix have white ones and just white
Yeah.
ones pretty much.
It's definitely susceptible to change because right now I'm not doing line jackets. We're doing like baseball jackets, like this one with our
Yeah,
name
it's confusing.
and that's for my family tree. So my little Ronald kind of started that by giving me this and giving himself that, and then I gave one of the Neos at Auburn that too, and then he gave his little like we're gonna kind of try and make that a thing. So
Cool, cool. So the next question was, when have you felt gratitude for a certain brother? In the sense of like, some brothers had questions on this, but it's just any moment when you're like, I'm so grateful I have this brother.
so the brother that's pictured is Jaco Teran. And to be fair, there are a lot of brothers on the chapter that I'm extremely grateful for. And it's kind of hard to pick, but the reason why I picked him is because if I hadn't met him, I would not have gone in the direction of life that I went, or I really don't think so. Being involved with this committee, you have to have a certain degree of wokeness, let's just be honest. And before I met Jaco, that did not exist for me at all. But he is the person who got me thinking about it, who got me thinking about my privileges and whatnot, and what that means. And by doing that, he actually pretty much effectively changed my life and the direction I was going. What I do right now, I work for social justice and advocacy at the University of Central Florida. I would never had an interest for that 4 years ago, which is actually 3 years ago, which is around the time that I met Jaco. But after that, after I met him, that's when my life just started changing and things started falling into place, and I found what I was really interested in and who I really wanted to help and what I was passionate about, and it's just gone off from there. So I picked him in particular because I am pretty, my life wouldn't be the same if I hadn't met him. Effectively changed the direction of my life.
Oh, it's so cute picture. Oh,
thank you.
You have some cool shoes on too.
That's the one that we're at nationals.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have this when you're graduating. Oh, yeah. He's from Peru, right?
He is, yeah.
Oh, cool. I met him. Some of the brothers might know him, but I think he's really good at strolling.
He is.
He's really good at strolling. I met him when he was a Neo in the summer of the first NLI, which was in Salt Lake City. It was hosted here, and I remember he was a Neo. He was super cool. Showed him around.
Don't let him know he's cool, because then that gets to his head, and we don't want that. So.
Oh, really?
Then he might start singing, and then we're like, don't sing.
Yeah, him and I go like way back in the sense of like when he joined, and then we still like text each other and stuff. And he's interested in joining the diversity team too, so hopefully I'll be doing a one-on-one with him in the future. Cool. So the next one. The next one is, when have you felt empowered because you were part of the brotherhood?
I think I felt most empowered when I graduated, just because. So my graduating was really difficult because I was a physics major. I graduated with my degrees in physics, and that was really hard on me. And my GPA sucked and stuff like that. And if I didn't have them as a support system, I don't think I would have been able to graduate. Mind you, it could be argued that the amount of work I put in ODFIs prevented me from doing well, just saying. But they still were there when I had fallen and wasn't feeling well, or, just my struggles. And this picture, this was taken after the fact. I probably should have uploaded this different picture, which is on my Facebook. But literally like 2 seconds after graduating, As soon as I walked out the door, they were the first people I saw. I didn't see my family. I didn't see my friends. I saw them. They were who I saw. And they picked me up. They literally threw me in the air. Like,
Mm.
and I'm a small guy, so it's not hard, but it's still like, you know, it's crazy to have that happen to you.
Hmm.
And so graduating with my brothers, having them there and just being supportive. Um, the guy next to okay, so the Chinese guy from starting from the right in the red shirt, he flew in for this, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, he flew in from DC, you know, like it's crazy. So it was it's amazing. It was amazing. It really was to know that I had their support no matter what.
Wait, what's his? I forgot his name. The one in the right here. Can you see my little clicker?
Yeah,
No.
Alex.
Is that Alex?
Yeah,
He was a solo line too, right?
yeah, that's the one who made me this.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
that's yeah, that's what you're saying. I'm just bad with names. Sorry.
you're good.
Cool. He's also pretty good at throwing.
He's okay.
You're like, he's okay.
Make fun
I'm
of him.
better. Cool.
He's gonna
So,
hate me when he sees this video. I swear to God.
nah, he's cool. Let me see here. So yeah, so those are the three main questions. Like it's so kind of to review. So this is the first picture. When he was talking about when he felt the most hype. And just a little context of like where you studied and where what chapter you're in and like where it's located at.
University of Florida. That's Alpha Upsilon chapter, and that's in Gainesville, Florida.
University of Florida, not FU, but
No, 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 no. That would be inappropriate. That would be very inappropriate.
not Florida University.
We get that way more than we probably should. Like,
Yeah. But it just it reminds me there's a like this like I don't know if you ever saw I don't even know what the show is from Mad TV where it's like I think it's called Lorraine or something like this like old lady I don't know you have to Google it
I
but
have to
she
Google this.
support Lorraine goes to FU and she's just like going crazy. Anyway, so Rico is in Florida, as you can probably start seeing from not this picture specifically, but if you any of you know about brothers in Florida, there's some pretty big like Jason's a pretty well known, almost OD famous bro from Florida. Right?
Yeah.
But then the next picture here you can almost kind of see from here that it's Florida also from the Gators, right? Here, and then the palm trees, right? So Rico and I were just playing around before we started the recording. He's like, "Are you cold?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because I'm wearing a scarf and like a beanie. And he's like, "Oh, it's 7 degrees over here." And I was like, "Wow."
Yeah. Like that day, I think I hated myself because I had to wear long sleeves, and it was like, it is not that cold. Like I see brothers wearing that, but they're dressing nice for the occasion. They did not do that. It's too fucking hot. Excuse my French.
For the graduation. You wearing long sleeves for your graduation?
It was not a fun time. Not a fun time.
Well, yeah. Florida is not hot. I mean, it's not cold at all in the winter, right?
Especially where I'm in Orlando now, so it's even worse for me. And Gainesville's just humid as hell.
Cool. So, and you already said a little bit more background about like your major and stuff, doing physics. Well, I guess you do have a position that I kind of knew about, but I forgot. Like, don't you already have a position with OD5?
I'm the assistant regional director for the Southeast.
Southeast, and what organization or what entities are in Southeast?
You have Auburn Colony, University of West Florida Colony, and University of Florida chapter, Alpha Upsilon chapter.
Yay, Auburn! I love the Auburn local founders.
They're adorable.
They are.
UWF's pretty cute too. Not gonna lie, I like them.
Who?
UWF.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I met that many of from there.
You would have only met Carlos. They're all really sweet though.
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
Cool. Well, I don't know what I did. Let me go back here, show you. Okay, so now you're on the video. So next thing, the next question was, um, when have you felt like you were enabled to be the most authentic as possible during your time being with the Brotherhood?
Um, I think being in the Brotherhood is what got me to be the most authentic me.
Mhm.
As I found out more about what I was passionate about and what I really believed in, and how I didn't want to do physics anymore, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really hard for me to pick any particular moment. I think since I crossed and then going on and meeting people like Jaco, or even my mentor Rafa, who's one of the founders, and he was also in that picture from when I graduated. Um, and having those conversations with them have taught me and let me be the most authentic me that I can be. So yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, and, like I said, with all these questions, I say moments, but you don't have to think of just one moment, right? Sometimes it's a combination of moments. But I'm glad that you can see that from the time you joined from now, you've seen how brothers have helped you little by little build that authenticity with yourself, right? And it's sometimes very clear for some of us to see that. Compared to other times, you're like, wait, before I crossed, I used to be way different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not so much of like it wasn't me, but it wasn't really. And it's not always about, because I don't like it when people say be yourself. It's not always about being yourself. It's about being your best self. And with this Brotherhood, it's since we have the excellence paradigm, we try to hopefully help each other and motivate each other to be our best selves. And authenticity is our best selves. And it's not just about being ourselves, right?
Yeah. Someone would say honesty, and we're not being even honest with ourselves. So how can you be honest with anyone else?
Right. Exactly. So with the next question is, um, think about two to three identities that you have, and how you've seen them impact the culture of your entity.
Well, so for my chapter, I'm actually tend to be the okay. So my chapter does tend to attract people who are part of the LGBT community,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I'm heterosexual. Um, so I think for me, um, having that identity, uh, it's hard for me to say that it's necessarily impacted so much as they have impacted me. But
Hmm.
in turn, because they have impacted me, I have impacted the people who have come after me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, and it's funny because it is what attracted me to the fraternity in the first place. It was Darwin, brother Darwin, who told us his story about coming out, and that's what made me want to join. And as I learned more about him and stuff, and about the community, I realized that this is knowledge to be passed down, because of I was pretty ignorant, and uh, there are still brothers who there are some brothers who have come by, and not necessarily saying they're ignorant, but they can learn,
Hmm.
right? And so that would be, I'd say, one identity is my own ignorance, and learning from my mistakes has helped me impact other brothers and teaching them to stray away from things, or saying certain things rather.
Hmm.
Um, I think my identity as someone who is Latino has impacted the fraternity. Um, I mean, we are still Latino based, so like in terms of who we're going to pull or what we do or what we stand for, I think that's another one. And I think, uh, and I hate saying this, my identity as someone who is privileged. Uh, like I said before, 4 years ago, I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for this fraternity. And I didn't realize the amount of privilege that I had and that I could use um, for our fraternity. And so when I did start realizing that, is when, and this is around the time I became president, is when I said we need to start doing hosting events to promote diversity or multiculturalism or whatnot. So the example I usually give is when we did one like about intersectionality. We held a workshop, like a little panel about being Asian and LGBTQ and what it means also to be Asian in the media. We did this with the Asian American Student Union at UF,
Cool.
or whatnot. And so, you know, and I mean, a part of being an ally is recognizing your privilege and how you can use that as a way to give people a voice. And I think since then, you know, because prior I feel like we were unfocused on who we were on campus, and since then I've seen our fraternity and our image grow into not our fraternity, our chapter rather, grow into that woke chapter, like who want to stand for those kind of issues, which is awesome. And so I would say that's an impact or whatnot. Mind you, it's really more of a foundation kind of thing, and then the brothers who came in afterwards really are the ones who made it into that, which I think is awesome.
Right. And I think that's something good that you mentioned, how you said you were chapter president and you're able to, you know, as a leader, kind of see, you know, how you've been growing, and then how you as a leader having that position to create a vision, be like, you know, I see this as a way we can not only help people on campus, but help just the community overall, whether it be the members of our own community that are brothers already, or people that can possibly be brothers in the future, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think even now, knowing what I had gone through, and now that I'm an assistant RD, when I talk to UWF or Auburn, even, you know, letting them know, like, maybe y'all should do this, you know, or maybe doing something right in a certain way would probably be best served if you did it in a different way, you know.
Right.
It goes hand in hand with my job, because I advise people on programming all day, and it's all multicultural programming, so
Yeah,
it works out.
that's good. That must be fun. And especially like I really like how you also mentioned how an assistant RD you help, especially with those that are new, right? Colonies.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important to give them as much information about some of the best practices, and also some of the things that, like as you mentioned, is like, do this as soon as possible. This is going to help not only with recruitment, but helping your organization be diverse. And the more diversity you have, the more divergent ideas you get, and the more just like impact you can probably make, because you understand that you can impact other people in different ways. So that's pretty cool that you're making sure that the colonies are getting that information.
Yeah, I called them every week for their first semester. They're on their own next semester. They be real. No, you're on the training wheels. I'll help you. We'll talk about things, but you have an idea of how things work now. You gotta try it yourself.
Right.
They if they need me, they know to call me. But like, you know, I gotta let them figure some things out on their own, and make mistakes on their own too.
Yeah, growth happens a lot when there's mistakes, and you learn from those, right? But we try to make sure that some orgs or entities, or even ourselves, don't make mistakes that are too detrimental to us even getting back on track, right? So but cool. Yeah, so let's see here. So those are the main questions I ask everyone, and then from this point on, I usually talk a little bit about the team, and then also about your role and how you're going to be in it. I could bring up the form that they had you fill out, but what were the committees you were interested in again?
LGBTQ. I put ableism, and I want to say there was one more. It was like a sentence though, so.
Yeah, they're really long. I know. So for sure, you said disability, accessibility, and
Yes.
then LGBTQ support,
Mm-hmm.
right? So cool.
Yes.
So within those, let's just start with those. So within those, start the LGBTQ one. So that one, you know, the people might be like, what kind of support they need? I mainly created this because understanding that we're gonna need for sure a lot of support. Not only institutionally, but when it comes to policy change, and making sure people understand our policy change, and then also education, and then just kind of empowering our members. As you mentioned, like the more brothers that you get to interact with, and it's not only sexuality, but just anything, the more empathy can grow. Like just happens. And so, but with LGBTQ resources, or support, mostly it's because our for brothers are going to learn more, that we have a policy change that allows anyone that self-identifies as male can join. We cannot discriminate someone if they are transgendered but still identify as male. That's coming in, right? Intake. If they're in the process and they were identifying as male and then they're transitioning to something else, which is like maybe gender fluid or something, or gender non-conforming, we still don't discriminate. And even if we have a brother that is a cis male, meaning they're born identifying male and are still male, and they're already a brother, they crossed, maybe they're even an alumni by now, and they want to transition to something else, and maybe even identifying as female, we need to figure out what does that mean, what does that look like, and still understanding that they crossed and they're still brothers, So we're gonna do a lot of stuff with that. That's kind of there, and it's not this, of course, that only doesn't this committee is not going to only focus on transgendered issues, but of course any kind of issues when it comes to sexuality or gender identity. So that's that one.
Okay. The other one, by the way, that I just remembered, it was mental health.
Okay. So yeah. So I think I called it mental wellness and suicide prevention. So and I talked about this with one of the brothers. His name's Chris. He's going to be on that. He's going to kind of be heading that one. And the reason I called it mental wellness is because lots of people hear mental. What was the word you said? Mental illness, or
I said health and wellness.
Health, yeah. So and it kind of gives it a deficit form of thinking. It's like, oh, like people like sometimes freak out or don't even want to talk about it, right? Because they're like, oh, like I don't have any mental illness, or I don't have. But when we're talking about what mental wellness, it's talking about how are we doing with our wellness, specifically mentally, emotionally, when it comes to some of us have depression, or some of us have PTSD. There's a lot of stuff that's happening when it comes to just being a college student, right? And on top of that, you have a bunch of identities that might be attacked, and how is that going to affect your wellness, right? If we have brothers that are Muslim and they're being attacked, we have brothers that are undocumented that are feeling really anxious right now and stress of like what's happening, and so we and brothers are the LGBT community, they're being attacked too sometimes on their campus. It's not being attacked so much about brothers from other brothers. I think overall our brotherhood's pretty strong and loving, but like people on their own campus or in their community or sometimes in their own family, right? So, but that's one. And then suicide prevention is another thing, right? We have brothers that we need to support a lot more when it comes to that. There should never be a brother that comes to the point that they feel like they don't belong, and or they feel like they have no one to talk to. They should have at least one brother that they can talk to, right? That could be hopefully their little bro or their big bro or their line bro. And if they're a solo line like us, hopefully their big bro.
Yeah,
and if
we'll
they don't
find
have someone, they should have a bro that they can talk to. But currently, I don't know, sometimes we're not helping and providing the resources for anyone to kind of know how to talk to bros and support them if they're kind of going through something like that. And then the other one is the disability, and I always put like the dis between brackets because it's a bit different abilities, right? And again, with that, some of it's more of like understanding where our policy is currently, how we can review it, update it, and then move forward to implementing it. And then, of course, providing a lot more resources, because if we're multicultural, we need to be a lot more accessible for anyone that has disability, whether it be visual or invisible, for them to be able to feel comfortable and fully take all advantages of the opportunities that they have within the brotherhood, because we provide that accessibility. Because I'm pretty sure, I think about it, like any brother that's listening or think about it, especially as you as an assistant RD, like are your processes, especially when you think about it, are they all accessible? Do you have, can anyone that's blind join? Probably not, because nationally we don't have any of our material in Braille, right? Like we can't, like they don't have the PM process or the PM book in Braille, right? They can't read it. or it's like how many of us bros even just know the simpleness of like our traditional values in sign language. Like you could just be like, our traditional values are like, and then you say them in sign language, right? So just like basic things like that, to then also things that making sure like our events are wheelchair accessible, like
Hmm.
whether it be recruitment events or social events or any kind of event, service events, or just so that's kind of some of the stuff we'll be focusing on. And each committee, um, based on we'll look first at our policy and then move forward to like our goals. And then one of the things for all of the committees, we're going to be thinking about conferences, regional and national, and even brotherhood regional things or national things, big events that we have, to make sure that all those spaces that we have brothers kind of gathering have
Hmm.
support for all of those kind of type of committees. And the brothers in the committees are pretty much at the conferences going to be kind of those teams to provide that, and whatever that looks like.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I picked those three specifically because I just the background in all of them. My job is uh, technically I'm multicultural student center, but our sister department is LGBTQ services. We work closely with them. I planned an LGBTQ history month. We also do disability ability events, and I have a bunch of those next semester. And then I'm also doing council education. So wellness is quite literally what I'm majoring in.
That's so cool. And then
Yeah.
wait, this is because you're doing your graduate school, right?
Mhm.
Cool. I don't think you told it, you said on here like about that. Can you talk about that real quick?
Yeah, so I am in counselor education at the University of Central Florida to be a therapist. I'm going to specialize in school counseling. That's usually broken off into school counseling, mental health and wellness counseling, and marriage and family. The three run very much in parallel. I just want to focus specifically on students. But specifically, and I talked to one of my advisor about this, college students. I know I said school, which most people think high school, but if
Yeah.
I had to be really frank, I do not consider undergrads adults by any stretch of the imagination. Um,
Huh.
young people,
Maybe just physically, like they
physically,
can,
by the law and
like
puberty,
biologically, yeah.
mentally and everything else, you are not an adult. You do not know what you want in your life. You do not know who you are, and that's just the truth. Like, I'm sorry.
And that's why you
So,
need a counselor, right?
and that's why you need a counselor. Please use your counseling services at your school, please.
Especially
Like,
if they're free, like, yeah. So that's cool. Great. Yeah. It's good to have for brothers. And that's a huge contrast to what you did in undergrad, right? For physics to that.
yeah, that's your yeah, huge. But it's great because like I said, like for once in my life I'm happy to go to class. I'm happy with what I'm studying and I'm passionate about it and I love my job. Like I'm telling you, like
Yeah.
my life effectively changed. So
Right. And that's
it's very good.
good. So this is also another learning thing for brothers that are in their undergrad, because I know some of the brothers like are stressed about what they're studying, and then they're just stuck, and it's like, well, if you're really close to almost graduating that, just do it. There's literally so much you can do after, like whether that be grad school or just a whole nother career change without extra education. Like there's just, it's not the end of the world when you major in something and get a degree in something that you're like, actually not what I originally intended, right?
Right. Right. And that's something my dad gets to me all the time. He's just like, I just want you to use your degree. You know, I'm just like, I don't want to use my degree. I don't want to use physics ever. You know, I want to use counseling and that's it, period.
Yeah, cool, great. So so with that, do you have any questions about the committees, about the overall teams, about me, about anything?
How many people are we looking at for the committee?
So let me see. I want for sure at least three in each.
Hmm.
I think we're getting close to that. Like I'm pretty sure we're at or we're about to get three in each. But that's at
Hmm.
least, because things happen in life, and you never know. People might have to step out, step in. People might not be able to go to all the conferences and stuff. So at least three, maximum like six in each committee, right? Because once you get past six, especially in a national position, like it's hard getting six people. Well, it'll be seven, including me, right? And each one in a call, it gets kind of clustered.
Hectic.
So, six max, three minimum. and we're getting to 3 minimum, and then where we're just going to start once we have 3, and then I do one-on-ones with everyone to officially get them on board and help them answer the questions, tell them know what things are happening. So then from there we could just make those goals and move forward, because there's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, I can imagine. And are we going to have, I know we have a lot of stuff to do, but like, would the first meeting be, this is who I am, or are we to watch these videos on our own time to know, like do our homework before?
It's up to you. Like, I know some of these videos are most of them are like 30 minutes long. It's just kind of up to you. You don't have to watch the whole thing, right? You can skip some stuff that I kind of did similar with some people. If it's just like the going through the questions part, going and seeing those things about the brothers, you can. But yeah, for sure. Once I kind of finish the calls, I'm going to try to do mostly all of them during winter break, right? And then from that point, like once January hits, I'll be able to email all of you and be like, hey, you're all on this committee. This is when we're going to have our conference call to have our first setup for this committee. Look through this document. Just be prepared. I'm pretty structured when it comes to kind of leading things. So
good. I like that. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, that's awesome. And then you will be present for each committee meeting. So like the one for bias incidents are not going to have a meeting the same day as LGBTQ. So
yep, yeah, I'll be in all of them.
But you will be present in all of them. Okay.
Yeah, so I can't like double book it. Like,
gotcha.
Yep. Okay. And then each committee, I'm going to try to have some person kind of be the head of it, so they can help, right? Like I said, with the mental wellness and suicide prevention, we have Chris. For the other ones, I'm still kind of looking at it based on like what it is, and I'm just understanding that when people serve in multiple ones, I just want to see what that. I'm pretty. Everyone is serving in multiple ones, but I'm trying to see where people can lead in different ways, right? Especially if they have a lot more knowledge and certain things to kind of lead with that. And I'll be like messaging people like who I think and be kind of letting them know, be like, hey, would it be? I'm thinking maybe between you and another bro, like how would you feel kind of leading this? And it could even be co-leading it, because sometimes, like I said, things happen, and so it's good to have two people sometimes kind of being in charge and or knowing what's happening with everything with the committee. So if someone has to step back for a bit, like it's good, and it's I make sure everything's very sustainable and well, it's moving, right? I don't like things when it's like kind of stuck because of like just people having to step out and stuff. And so anything that's sustainable is always better.
Okay. And I guess as my last question, as time goes, will there be possible development of other committees? Because you mentioned, about our undocumented students, making sure they feel like they're okay. And heaven forbid, these next few years, if something does happen, will we be responsible for making a committee for that?
Yeah, so of course, more committees can happen. These 4 committees came out of just mainly having, that's my background with social justice and kind of knowing where currently, with my own experiences being in the fraternity, where we kind of need support currently, and or when I went to AFA, this national conference, and which I mentioned to you, this is a new position, not only with the fraternity, but with every other fraternity sorority in the country. And we're the first ones to do this, and no one else can show us the way. And but based on the conversations and conferences and workshops and educational sessions that they were having on any kind of diversity issue, there's a lot on suicide prevention. There's a lot about mental wellness. There's a lot on LGBT / and also specifically on transgendered issues. There wasn't really any on disability or ability. So I was like, okay, that's one blind spot everyone has, and we can lead that. We can, of course, stick with everything that's happening with those other ones. And then, of course, bias incidences. That's always kind of talked about since not with our fraternity, but just other fraternities, always doing theme parties that are bad or doing just things that are you're like, how can you not have thought of that, you know, of
Hmm.
like you're
That's what. Okay.
right.
I
So
didn't sign up for that one because I didn't know what it was. I was like,
biased instances is also like discriminating, like if you're discriminating someone to join the fraternity because of their age or veteran status or because their disability or sexuality or
Mhm.
gender identity. So any not only with recruitment, but having them cross or having them have a leadership position, or just as a brotherhood we do something that's very discriminatory, like I said, with or just super ignorant, like, you know. So it encompasses a lot of stuff. And then on top of that, it's not just that, but it's restorative practices, which is like, if that happens, we're not there to sanction the brother or the chapter. That doesn't teach anything. It's about, hey, let's make sure the harm is addressed. People learn from it. It's a learning opportunity. And we're still growing together and building empathy, compared to like, oh, we're shaming you because you didn't know, or because you're shaming. Like, that's not what we're doing, and that's what we should never do. So,
Okay, cool.
but yeah, with specifically the what you said with undocumented brothers, um, so part of another organization called LULAC, which is the largest and oldest Latino organization in the country, and we have a bunch of services with that, and we're just kind of literally kind of waiting to see what's going to happen, and LULAC's going to be leading and with any kind of services or efforts with that, and seeing based on that, we can then maybe, if it's required, if ODFI needs to do a partnership. But I don't know if we need a specific committee, but if we do, I will know for sure if we need to make a specific committee, and I know brothers are willing to step up with that. With every committee so far, brothers have been willing to step up, and I'm so grateful. Like, and it's exciting, right?
Hmm. It really is. This is literally like everything I want to do. So this is. I was really surprised to see it come up, and I'm really grateful that it did.
Right. And then Tony originally, like I said, he's the one that wanted to create this position, and then he placed me, kind of promoted me this position, and he has his vision, right? I'm so glad our national president has his vision. One of the things I did put on my original like goals and stuff, I was like, I want to, like, as I mentioned to you, I want three to at least three people in each one. I didn't say max. I just said at least three people. And he was like, well, based on our past volunteering people and stuff, you'll probably only get one for each committee. And I was like, thinking, I was like, oh, we'll see. And then voila, like bunch, even without too much effort to kind of recruit people for
Mhm.
this, it's been at least three people. And so, yeah, there's brothers that want to lead, and there's brothers that have been waiting, and there's now the space where we can finally allow this to happen. So
Awesome. Okay. Well, that
cool.
is great. All right. Well, that's all I got.
No
So
other questions?
now,
How hot is it over there?
oh, buddy. Okay. So I just came from Atlanta,
Oh,
and when we drove here, I think the degree differential was 50 degrees. So
what?
it was 30. Yeah. No, I'm not playing. It was 33, 30 something degrees in Atlanta, and it was 80 when I got back to Orlando.
Oh my gosh, I can't
Yeah.
even. Oh my gosh, I wish I can wear shorts right now. Oh my
Bro,
gosh.
I wish I could wear a jacket.
But
Like,
you don't know.
like
You can
straight basic.
you can wear a jacket and be comfortable ish. Here, I don't
I
know.
want to
Like,
die.
I don't know. I can't wear shorts and be comfortable. I would be like freezing. I put my heater on, my space heater right here, and my feet are still cold. Like, nah.
I would rather be, I mean, I've never gotten to negative temperature, but I would rather be cold than hot.
No, no. I just it just depends on people's like living experiences, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get cold in the first place. So being in Orlando is just like worse. So, I don't
But
know how you want to be here. I don't know. I don't know.
well, when you're especially when it's dry here too, it's just it just sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, so um, I'm so happy again that we can do this one on one. I hope brothers can see all through it, and hopefully everything went well with me sharing the pictures and everybody was able to see it. Otherwise, I would probably put the links to just the pictures or put them somehow in the videos when I'm editing it. But yeah, so thank you, Rico.
No problem.
What was it, Sir? The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Dark Knight. Oh, I didn't tell you mine. Mine's Sir Eximius. Eximius,
Like, see
which
me.
it's just Latin. It means one, it's only one or unique, right? So, um, it's kind of since I was a solo line,
Because
and
you're solo.
yeah, and also because I created my own major and I speak lots of languages, like different. I'm pretty just
I
like
remember Spanish, Japanese, Portuguese, Nahuatl, and English,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
So where you say your memory's not good with like names and stuff, like mine's pretty good. I got
Remember, yeah, there you go, there you go. We got all our strengths, right?
you. Yeah.
So, but yeah, so thank you. And then is it okay if I put your email in the description box so brothers can email you if they have questions and stuff?
Yeah. Preferably the night one because with the southeast one, people don't email it anyway, so I don't end up using it. So it's
Okay,
just easier for me to use the night one.
cool. I'll do that. And then yeah, always feel free to reach out to any of the bros that I interview because they're your bros, right?
Sure thing.
they're bros.
Sure
And
thing.
then and of course with me, anytime you want to reach out to me, you could always reach out to me.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Al. I appreciate it.
Okay, so we'll talk later, okay?
Yes, sir. Just let me know when. Have a good one.
Ciao. Okay. Stay hype.
Stay hype.